All right, ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Greene, AMTV, hard hitting it in your face. June 23rd, 2022. I want to go to the words of Jerome Powell. Again, I think this has been overlooked by the general population, and this is actually massive news because what he's announcing, ladies and gentlemen, is a new world reserve system, a new world reserve currency that's going to replace the old fiat dollar. Now, of course, this is something I've been warning about for a very long time, and I believe not only can they not stop inflation, but this is going to encourage a sovereign debt default and a sovereign debt crisis in the United States. Trust the plan. I think this is actually what they want, so that, of course, they can move to the new central bank digital currencies that I've also been warning about for literally going on over a decade. So let's take a look at this real quick. I'm going to bring my trusty head down here, and we will hear the exact statement from Jerome Powell himself, warning of a new U.S. central bank digital currency. Let me play the video.
Looking forward, rapid changes are taking place in the global monetary system that may affect the international role of the dollar in the future. Most major economies already have or are in the process of developing instant 24/7 payments. Our own FedNow service will be coming online in 2023. And in light of the tremendous growth in crypto assets and stablecoins, we are examining whether a U.S. central bank digital currency would improve upon what is an already safe and efficient domestic payment system. As our white paper on this topic notes, a U.S. Cbdc could also potentially help maintain the dollar's international standing.
Okay, so think about this for a minute. An already safe and stable payment system. If he has to say that to the public and signal that, I would question the legitimacy even of that comment. So basically, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell in his last speech has officially warned, and he's confirming a U.S. central bank digital currency, a CBDC, is being implemented and will help, he says, quote, the U.S. dollar's international standing. So this is an entirely new system, ladies and gentlemen. This is a complete reset, which is what they've already warned about. They're giving you a new system. This is going to cause a sovereign debt default in the United States. And here's the kicker. They're not going to be able to stop inflation. When you reset a currency, when you lose the petrodollar that used to be backed by oil, and they're already transitioning us to a new energy system and energy grid as we speak. I mean, you see all the supply chain shocks, all these kinds of things currently happening. You cannot stop interest rates from rising, which will cause a sovereign debt collapse, a jubilee. We saw this in the pigs nations in and around the 2008-09 financial crisis, when rates on bonds and sovereign debt, when there's trust lost. For example, China no longer wants to buy U.S. treasuries. When the people lose trust in the government, rates soar. And it doesn't matter who the chairman or chairwoman is, Yellen or Powell will not be able to contain, in my view and in my humble opinion, the panic. And this is why we see so much money flooding out of dollars into critical assets like gold, silver, real estate, and even blockchain today, because this is an economic, financial, new system being launched. Now, let's get into more of these articles. Powell is also saying, that the Fed plans on recommendations to Congress, not just on CBDCs, but further regulatory events. We're seeing Michael Saylor and others call for this, and I actually think even the inkling that this is going to happen is going to bring trillions of dollars of new capital, institutional money especially, which is buying this dip, into crypto and blockchain as soon as there's more clarity on regulation regarding stablecoin markets, post Terra Luna's collapse, post what we're seeing with asset freezes at Celsius, capital injections FTX just made with BlockFi. Of course, Peter Thiel is one of the lead investors, backers of that. Voyager, which is another crypto platform backed by Galaxy Digital. But my point here is they are clearly moving to a new system. So here's what you need to know. They can't contain interest rate, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going to be able to stop this train. It doesn't matter if they're bumping a measly 50 basis points. We are still under 2%. There is no way in God's green, beautiful earth that they can contain the absolute mania that is about to occur regarding the sovereign debt in the United States. This means that the bond market, in my view, is completely insolvent. That a multi-quadrillion derivative market is about to implode on itself. And this is why, again, my whole talking point over the last few years has been to get out of dollars. You want to get out of cash. It's trash. This is what Ray Dalio says as well. It's absolute trash as quickly as you humanly possibly can. You need to diversify internationally. You need to diversify across different asset classes as well. Now, this also comes on the heels of President Putin saying that the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, are developing a new global reserve currency. At the same time, of course, China is building the new Belt and Road Initiative, which is the Silk Road. All those maritime pathways, building naval ships, naval destroyers that rival the United States Navy, seeing them build all this infrastructure, not just at ports. Russia, of course, successfully taking the eastern and southern ports of Ukraine, finally now being admitted by the mainstream media. And what many would think, just based on the facts, that Russia is winning. And China, which of course backs Russia, is winning in the Ukraine in this geopolitical shakeup. So let's talk about this for a minute. Here's another article. It says Western move to choke Russia's oil exports boomerangs, meaning it fires back on the West. So you have European nations right now warning of total supply shocks, oil, gas, natural gas shortages, global famines having been engineered as a result. All of this is hitting Western nation states, the Eurozone, and the United States far worse than Russia. Their ruble has stabilized. Their oil profits and natural gas profits are now reaching records because of the super pump that's been created by these manufactured supply shocks. And it's completely working in reverse from what U.S. politicians say is the intention. But here's the kicker. This is the intention. And this is what people need to understand. You are not in a recession. You're in a planned wealth transfer, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you need to know. This is why you need to get out of dollars. This is why you need to be learning about Bitcoin and blockchain. This is why institutions, in my opinion, are buying at these levels, at Bitcoin 20K, at Ethereum 1K. And as we get more regulatory clarity, as Jerome Powell is now finally admitted, he's going to reset the entire system. The US dollar, petrodollar, backed by oil system of your previous generations of the baby boomers, that's over. All the wars fought in Iraq and Afghanistan for nothing. They're moving to central bank digital currencies, of which you will own nothing, they've said, and you'll be happy. And this is why I think inflation is going to get much worse. Stagflation, arguably hyperinflation, is going to continue to price average Americans as their wages collapse and they move to socialist systems like universal basic income and other types of controls. And yeah, we could see some pullback, like for example in housing in certain areas of the country, but not in the best locations. Okay, not oceanfront, beachfront like here in Maui. I mean, this is why the billionaires are buying all of it up right now. Not in Malibu, places in California like that. Not in the best locations, because smart money is parking out of collapsing fiat dollars in what they must believe is a sovereign fiat collapse in preparation for the new system. So I think Jerome Powell and the people that puppet string him are really just kind of trying to control the demolition, quite literally. Also, Germany warns of a Lehman-like contagion from Russian gas cuts, proving again everything is backfiring once again. Let me show you this article. Proving the point, okay, that everything is backfiring. Germany warning of a Lehman-like contagion. We saw this in 2008-09, of course, with all the major too big to fail banks that got taxpayer-infused trillion-dollar bailouts in the form of TARP funds and then applaud themselves for later paying it back. Like, look, dude, if you gave me $1 trillion in TARP funds, I could take that money and borrow from zero and then put it into a bond, make 5%, and then eventually pay it back. Well, you're going to congratulate me for taking free money from U.S. taxpayers? It's so ridiculous. Like, oh, good job, Goldman Sachs. We're so glad you paid back your $1 billion in TARP funds. Dude, it was free cash. Americans don't get free cash. You get screwed is what happens. And you're getting screwed right now with the collapse of this planned demolition fiat system, which is not a recession that every talking head wants to tell you about right now, but is a depression and a planned wealth transfer. Also, the Wall Street Journal reports, of course, as gas prices continue to soar, that, let's look at the major headline here, Germany is looking at potentially rationing natural gas after Russian supply. And this is probably going to happen with food, okay, water, clean air, all the basic elements to life. And I think we're going to see this transition again into what they've said is going to be a global famine. And not just second, third world nation states, but first world nation states. And this is why there's a panic, in my opinion, to all assets, whether or not this is food, gold, silver, crypto, and blockchain, which, by the way, this is the opportunity because it's going to pump with the regulatory approval, in my opinion, not financial advice. The institutions are getting in now. They dump on retail, okay? They buy the dip. They profit immensely. And then once we break new records, they'll dump on retail again. It's what they do in the stock market. It's how Fortune 100 companies buy back their stocks, which used to be illegal. They're pumping their own stocks by borrowing from the Fed at zero or with funds that they get, okay? And then buying it back to enrich themselves, then selling their own stock and dumping it on the market. Who do you think gets dumped on? Retail. So Berlin triggered the second of its three-step plan to deal with gas shortages after the Kremlin-controlled energy giant Gazprom, the country's biggest gas exporter, throttled delivery via the Nord Stream pipeline by around 60% last week. So here's the point, ladies and gentlemen. Everything's backfiring. Not really, because it's the plan. This is what you need to understand. They tell you what to think in the media. They're like, oh yeah, this was an accident that this happened. No, it's not an accident. This is a planned wealth reset. This is a planned wealth transfer from the middle class. It's a planned sovereign debt default and collapse, a jubilation, okay, of the old petrodollar reserve system, which has $30 trillion worth of debt that no other country in the world believes in anymore. That's why they're selling U.S. Treasury in droves. And what they're going to do, because they can't stop inflation and inflation isn't transitory and they were lying to you, is they're blowing another bubble to move to the new system to contain the inevitable contagion that's going to spread like a wildfire here in the United States when people realize the truth that we're in an economic, financial Great Depression and an imminent collapse, which is happening right now and that we're all living through. So, I don't want to just be here to bring necessarily doom and gloom. I'm telling you guys to prep and get ready. You should be at school. You should be at BitcoinRich.com. You should take advantage of the promo code. You should be building your portfolio now. You should be buying this dip. Not financial advice, in my opinion. You should look and figure out how to make your first $1 million in crypto. I'll help you with this at school. Click the link below. Get in at BitcoinRich.com. Enter the promo code 1000X Life before the price goes up. And prepare for the worst. Because again, if you think you're safe in fiat US dollars, when Jerome Powell just told you to your freaking face, they're moving us to a new system. And then he has to emphasize it's safe. Oh, yeah. We know this is the same guy who said inflation was transitory. If he's saying the current fiat bankrupt bullcrap system is safe, you better run for the hills and literally prepare for the worst. You need to be diversifying out of these asset classes and getting into the ones of stable, appreciable value. Whether or not this is food that you can eat, gold and silver that you can store your wealth. It is crypto, the first portable wealth system ever created where you have sovereignty and total liberty and freedom over it that no government can control. See, they are going to control the public side of CBDCs, worthless digital fiat. The private side will coexist in this market, be things like Bitcoin. I mean, dude, do you think Jack Dorsey is leaving Twitter to dedicate his life to Bitcoin open source development if he thinks it's going to zero? This guy's a billionaire, guys. He's one of the controllers of the world. No, he's all in because he's smarter than the general population. And like I said in last night's video, they're not going to dump the markets enough, okay, speaking to other asset classes like key housing locations, right, so that you can get in. No, they're not. They told you you're not going to own anything. You're going to rent everything and be happy. You're not even going to own a car. You're going to rent your whole life. You're going to rent the air you breathe. There's going to be, carbon credits regarding that. You'll be taxed on that. So again, you're out of your mind if you think we're going back to the old system. No, this is the new system, okay, that they've manufactured. It is a planned wealth transfer. That's exactly what it is. And it's a move into the new order. And what is the new order? It's the BRICS nations declaring a new system and a new reserve currency in the form of the digital yuan. And it's Russia shaking things up in that proxy war, which is going to lead to World War III, followed by the Pope resigning. I'm going to call this now, and a new Pope, okay, being designated, who's probably going to come from an African nation state, which will bring in the end times biblical events that I've been warning about, and of course, the introduction and revealing of the Antichrist that's supposedly going to solve everyone's problems. This is what's coming, guys. So you better prepare and build your arcs right now, or don't. Do nothing. Think you're smarter than the machine. You're not. We all need to pray, and this goes for me as well, to Jesus Christ, our King. We know he's in control. We know this is his plan, but what's coming in the coming days, it's going to be bad. It ain't going to be pretty. Get in school now. Learn the fundamentals. Learn the advanced topics. Start watching our videos on everything you need to know about Bitcoin. Participate, expand your knowledge, and then get first insider access to the Island Project launch. It's a potential 10,000x blockchain. It is a real asset portfolio here in Maui and Oahu that's going to decentralize itself worldwide. Real income, real capital appreciation potential, real cash flows, real freedom community, sovereign private hosted wallets at the public blockchain launch that only our insiders are going to get in on first. The rest is going to be history, guys. You can't save everyone, but you can save yourself. I love you. Jesus Christ is King. Get in at school. BitcoinRich.com. Hit that automatic promo code. Don't wait. Price is going up. Don't wait. What else are you going to do? Sit around, read the bad news, realize you're crap out of luck? There's more layoffs and job losses coming to you. You need to create incomes now, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be hustling. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning every single day hustling, building new things, coming up with new ideas, figuring out new ways to make money. You should be doing the exact same thing to protect your family and do what's honorable, because God wants to put all of you to work in amazing ways. Help us build it, and they will come. BitcoinRich.com and the Island Project, soon to launch, July 4th, 2022.
Ladies and gentlemen, get right with God today and get prepared. Do everything that you can to diversify and declare your own independence with blockchain technology and at school, BitcoinRich.com. Learn the principles of self-sovereignty today. Create additional new income streams. I teach all of this at school at our blockchain, our world-class academy. Learn about crypto. Learn about the skill sets that you're going to need to survive if blackouts are coming to the United States, if things get worse, if things spiral out of control in Ukraine, if we see China eventually, and I believe this is going to happen, invade Taiwan. Declare your sovereignty and independence at school. Do it with us at BitcoinRich.com. 1000x your life today. I love you all. There's a promo code, 1000x life. You'll save immediately, but then it goes away. So make sure you register. I want to see you there. Stay prepped and stay vigilant.